This is Rob Sanders, Executive Director of Nebraska USA Wrestling. We're here with Zac Dominguez and Brandon Bradley, Head Coach of Nebraska Wesleyan University. All you guys were at the World Team Trials. Just what did you think about them?
Well, go ahead, Coach.
I think first it was great for Lincoln to obviously be able to host the trials and all the fan support that came out. And I think wrestling was top notch. A lot of matches went best of three and really put our sport on notice that this was the place to be last weekend here in Lincoln.
Absolutely. I think this is probably one of the best World Team Trials I've been to in the last 15 years. Not to mention that they went three matches. Three out of the 8 weight classes went 3 matches. The amount of true third matches, what they would call money matches for national teams, was 7 out of 8. So there was a ton of extra wrestling, a ton of extra everything that people got to see. And if you didn't stick around for the true third matches, you blew it, because there was a lot of great matchups back to those guys that finished second in the bracket, third there, but they can move up and wrestle that true third guy. Very commonly confused for true second, but it's actually true third.
Because the top 3 guys are on the national team, which means they get paid a certain stipend throughout the rest of the year.
That is correct.
Now, what were a couple of matches or series in the finals that you really enjoyed?
Well, number one, I enjoyed the Burroughs-Dake match. Obviously, hometown hero and Jordan Burroughs taking a loss, his 5th loss in 7 years of some silly number. Then the crowd got behind him, really rallied back. 2 matches, wrestled phenomenal. The changes that they made in between each matches with Coach Manning and Coach Schneider were amazing. And then another match that I like to see, you just like to see a couple beatings thrown out there. And I tell you what, Kyle Schneider's the real deal. I think Sajulev's got a handful. He don't want it, man. He don't want what Kyle's going to bring. So I'm excited to watch that.
I think 121 with Gilman and Ramos, obviously the hype was built into it of, former teammates, ex-Hawkeyes going at each other, some little smack talk on social media. And, Gilman did what he had to do. He wrestled probably 4 matches during the day, and, you couldn't tell that he had competed earlier, and, he got his hand raised in a dominant fashion.
Seeing James Green really start to pull away was exciting for me to see at 70 kilos. He's using his underhook a lot more to keep hand fighting and moving forward instead of standing out in front and letting guys hang around a little bit. I think after, I believe, the 2015 Worlds, when he was wrestling the Iranian who ended up winning JB's weight class in 2016, that guy really pushed him around with the underhook. He's adopted that into his style. Now, what are a couple of matches that were notable for you guys in the challenge tournament?
I think one of my favorite challenge match tournaments was definitely Gilman and Graff, a 1-to-1 match, solid hand fighting. Just to reiterate all the things that we do as coaches, you're watching guys that are defending so well, hand fighting so well, and just pushing the pace and taking it to that level of exhaustion that they're not afraid to get to. So they wrestled hard. It ended up being a 1-1, Gilman scoring last. The coaches were into it. The crowd was into it. Gilman went on a run, beating so many top-ranked guys. It was just silly. And another one was actually the first match. One of the first matches, Brandon Wright versus Brewer down there. 10-10 match or 10-8 match. Lots of points scored. So exact opposite, but at the same time, it still came down to hand fighting, position, skills you learn from when you're forward to you're wrestling there with. Down block, go around. Simple takedowns like that were the differences in a lot of those matches at the World Team Trials this year.
I liked watching kind of the heavyweight challenge tournament. I liked watching Wisdowski. I think he's a lightweight in spirit. He takes a lot of shots. He has a lot of attacks, and it was just really good to kind of see him get over the hump of Nelson and Ray, kind of guys that try to slow him down and hand fight and just went on, caution calls or passivity. But really Wisdowski went out there and really dominated the heavyweight field this weekend with pure leg attacks and scoring.
Now, Zac, you were talking about guys exhausting themselves. Brandon Wright at 61 kilos, he actually threw up right at the end of his match as time expired. So do you know anything about if he was sick, anything like that?
No, actually I had an opportunity to talk to ex-Nebraska coach, what's his name? Sorry. At Indiana.
Oh, Pasco.
No, not Pasco. Who's the head coach? Oh, he's at Purdue. Sorry.
Oh,
I was talking about Ursuline. Sorry. So thank you. Sorry. He's not in Indiana, but he's at Purdue. Both in Indiana, so pardon me.
Right.
I talked to him. I said, hey, what's the deal with Wright throwing up? He goes, you know what's funny? I asked somebody from the Indiana coaching staff, Escobedo, as a matter of fact. He goes, he's just got really, really bad nerves. And that's what happens to him. He doesn't necessarily, he's not sick, he's not worn out, he's not beat up, he's not trying to save time and just take a break. He literally works himself to a point where he gets so nervous that he throws up during the match, or he holds his breath, or whatever the tick is for him. It just makes him get sick. And I thought it was interesting that even at the highest level, performing at the highest level, every wrestler still has something that they have to get over. And this is something for Brandon Wright, runner-up, that he, or true third, pardon me, he's gonna have to get over in order to get to that hump. So whether it's a position problem, a mental problem, a stomach problem, there's always something that a wrestler has to get over. So I thought that was interesting.
And Brandon, you've been following Brandon Wright's career for a while. What are a couple of things that were impressed him about you?
Well, I just think for, people that don't know him, obviously, he was a, NAIA guy, two-time national champ. But, I think that just goes to show that, at a wrestling tournament, it doesn't really matter what division you wrestle in. You get the same opportunity to make the weight in the same 6 minutes. And, he takes advantage of that. He took advantage of it in Vegas by finishing runner-up, and then obviously coming through the tournament here and finishing true third to, give himself a chance to be on a world team, be on a national team. And so I just think for kids out there, wrestling's wrestling, right? You just got to enter yourself in the tournament and believe in your training.
And then, Brandon, we'll go back to you on this one. What did you think of the officiating? Was it more consistent from the U.S. Open?
I think so. I think, officiating's hard. It's judgment calls. Guys got to think on the fly. And, when you're dealing with high emotion, high-level athletes, not every call is going to be right in everyone's eyes. I think those guys do the best they can. I think our officials are better than international officials because we call it fair. And I think, again, it's a hard job. That's why we got 3-man mechanics. But, everyone can improve. So I just think, keep wrestling, keep officiating, keep getting better.
What was your take, Zach?
You know what? I have a little bit of a privilege of the position that I hold with USA Wrestling, that I'm allowed to be in on certain seating meetings, the way the referees talk to everybody, and explain, hey, this is how we're going to call it this weekend. So I get a little bit more insider information, which I truly love, just because it's, you put a little time in, you get a little extra. And you know what? They called it the way they said they were going to do it. They didn't go outside of those bounds. Maybe they were pushing a gray area every once in a while, but they definitely came through and said, hey, you know what? We're going to set it up. We're going to do it like this. Rick Tucci, Zach Garrett, our top two officials in the United States, led a good crew, and they did. They were there. They were on time. They were doing their thing, and I felt like they said what they were going to do. They did do it. So it was excellent. On a side note, seating meeting was awesome. Thomas Gilman was seated 8th, and only one coach threw a fit, and it was Mike DeRoe, and said, if you guys see the only world medalist in that bracket 8th, you're doing it all wrong. Well, I give a shout out to Mike DeRoe. You were right.
Now, with the officiating, the third match of the Jaden Cox-David Taylor match, there was Cox was sweating a lot, and he got hurt, so he took some injury time there. Just shed some light on there. Is there a specific amount of injury time in international styles, and are they supposed to stop the match to clean up sweat? How does all that work?
There is no stoppage time. Everything is unlimited. At the senior level, there's levels for juniors and cadets. There's issues with blood and things of that nature. But at senior level, I think in America we want to see wrestling, so we're gonna always try to force the action. We're gonna push them back out to the middle. But I was actually just watching the Russian Nationals this morning, and a guy would say, "Hey, I'm just really sweaty. I need to take a break." Okay, go towel off and come back to the middle. So, unfortunately, when we travel overseas, we're living in their world, so they'll slow that pace down as much as possible. In the United States, they'll definitely keep you in the middle. You're not too sweaty. I mean, obviously, people sweat, some more than others. But overseas, they might complain a little bit with Jaden. He's got something on him. We need to check him out, whatever it is.
Do you have anything to add there, Coach?
I think, for Zach made some good points about international where they want to slow it down. I think we're used to, that folk style mentality of just go, go, go. And honestly, I think the longer you make a Cox match, the more sweat he's going to get, right? He can't stop for 20 minutes after his matches where he's still going to be drenched. So I just think, you have to hope that it's just pure sweat, no lotion or anything on him. But, just continue wrestling, and you got to find a way in a match.
In the best of 3 finals, they had the path cleared from kind of under the tunnel area onto the wrestling platform, and they let the younger kids wrestle, or let the younger kids stand right there and slap hands. What did you guys think of that, and do you think that helps get kids more excited?
No, absolutely. I think them being a part of what's happening is always real important for kids. They might show more interest if they're a part of what's happening. Could it be crowd control? Yeah, if there was adults down there, it might have been issues. But kids, they mean the best. They're not down there to do anything crazy. They want to support their quote athlete, their hero, their guy, whoever that is. And if they got a guy, I would hope that they would be down there. I mean, that's the only reason why I made kids in my club volunteer for this tournament so they could see it, get them in front of them. Like, hey, man, I mean, so many kids got pictures that were sent to me. Hey, we got a picture with Coach Brands or Schneider, or one crazy one, Lance Jarrett was riding a bike next to David Taylor just having a conversation with him. So it's cool. But, yeah, the more they're involved, the quicker the oh, my God, I'm going to be an Olympic champ idea floats in their brain, and they want to go do it more. Whatever more may be, I don't know, but at least they're doing it more.
I thought it was cool that they get to slap their idols' hands, and a lot of some of those kids were brothers or sisters or cousins of guys that are competing in the finals. I know Jaden Cox, I think it's his little sister. I know she may be related to him, but I mean, when does she get to slap his hand before he takes the stage? So I just think it was awesome that kids got that opportunity.
Now, Zach, you said that you got your club got to help. Just talk about behind-the-scenes stuff that maybe some of your guys got to see, and what that experience was like as a whole.
For me, the high schoolers, the young ones help as much as they can, but the high schoolers were the escorts, and the people that went back there, pulled up the athlete, walked out with their tub, and it was interesting to watch their reactions. I'm going to stand next to Jordan Burroughs, or I'm standing next to so-and-so. But to me, the most important thing was, to be honest with you, was the interaction that athlete could see between the athlete and their coach. I said, pay special attention to that. See what they're talking about. Sometimes they're not even talking about wrestling. They could be talking about some movie they watched before they came and how funny it was, just to distract them from the moment in time so they could, refocus. Or they were focusing in. I heard so many people talk about how Kale, or some of the high schoolers that we had there, that Kale's, they were quiet. They just like to be in the moment, right? Enjoy it. Whereas Jaden Cox was, he was, one of my moms, Sonia Andrews, was super excited. She had full-on blown conversations with Jaden Cox, and she's like, I have no idea who this guy is, but man, he made me feel part of the team, right? So it just, Logan Stieber, I heard, was a really, really good guy back there. They're all really good guys. I'm just saying that some of them were really interactive, some of them were off their own. But the important part is I wanted the parents and the kids to see, look, how important the coach and athlete dynamic is. No matter how good the wrestler is, or how great the coach is, or vice versa, that dynamic is super, super important. My little girl's in gymnastics, and every day I said, hey, did you do everything coach said? Did you tell her goodbye? Did you say hello to her? Were you interacting with your coach every day? To me, that's a very, very important thing. I think that it's a lot of times people don't really think that that's important, because it's, whether we have good coaches or not good coaches, it's misplaced. Dad knows best, mom knows best. Of course they do, but coach really does know best when it comes to wrestling. It's not like we're trying to take spots, mom and dad, but we truly just want what's best for the kids, and that's what I really wanted the parents to see, especially in the rounds of the finals there, where it was just 2 wrestlers and their coaches and their entourage of people that might have been back there. Somebody told me David Taylor brought his own chiropractor with him. They had everybody there. I mean, it was just, one guy had a team of 10, or a team of 4, but either way, those are the most important people that he needed to have around him in order to win that match, which was awesome.
Now, in exactly a week, Junior Duels starts, so they've got Freestyle and Greco-Roman Duels down in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Coach Bradley, what do you know about Junior Duels and what Team Nebraska can expect?
Junior Duels has been around for a long time, and I think, when I was growing up, Team Virginia, we would send a team out there, and I think it's, a great way to get just freestyle and Greco matches against the elite teams around the country. Yes, we have Fargo, but, that doesn't guarantee you more than 2 matches, where Junior Duels is you at least get 5 to 6. I don't know what the number count is, but I just think the more wrestling you do, the better it makes you. And I think, Team Nebraska, we got some young, hungry kids that are coming up through the ranks of freestyle and Greco and folk style. And, I think they can go out there and really put Nebraska back on the map as a team. We have some senior guys that, want to win some more stop signs before they go off to college. So I would say, man, you got to watch out for Team Nebraska.
Zach, anything you want to add about Junior Duels?
It's a great developmental tournament. I love this tournament immensely. I love all dual tournaments during Freestyle and Greco because you're going to get your most amount of matches in. You can develop young coaches that way. You can stick them in high priority situations, start bringing on coaches. I mean, it's developmental at every level. Even our college coaches that come on staff, I thoroughly enjoy being there with them. They're teaching me something, and maybe I can throw them something. If they already don't know it, and it's excellent opportunity to get to know kids and be there and just see what's available. What's going on. College coaches are there. You can stick your head out a little bit more and maybe try something you wouldn't try, and it works. So it's great. You can't lose enough matches, in my opinion, at duels because you're only going to learn. You can't take it the wrong way. It's only going to grow you no matter what.